Here's a simple question for you. When do you know a big fight is in town? Is it when, I don't know, 40,000 people buy tickets? Is it when 600 people show up for a weigh-in? Is it when you have to open about 70 cinemas around the country so that the public can watch the fight? Is it when 60 or so countries around the world buy rights to screen it? Well, I would say all of those are factors. But in my opinion, you know a big fight's in town when Michael Buffer arrives with that suntan, with those teeth, and with that face, the distinctive face and voice of Michael Buffer. Is there one single person associated with big-time boxing more than Buffer? I would argue not. I really would, because some of the biggest characters out there, Bob Arum, of course we know who he is, he's big and he's famous, and Don King, and maybe they've had their years. Frank Warren, if Frank Warren's there, you know it's going to be okay, but Frank Warren equally can show up at York Hall, because he's a fight fan. The Buffer only shows up when it matters. He only shows up when it counts. He only breezes into town with that smile set in place when it's big time. Well, this is big time. And the Buffer was there today at the Odeon, Leicester Square. And I caught up with the Buffer because, well, you know I'm going to say this. We go back a long way. And I did obviously ask him, was it difficult for you to get and accept this fight, Michael? He said, you're joking. He said, I am preparing for what will be, these are the Buffer's words, an exceptional night.
You know, I really think this crowd could be just over the top. It's a great venue where the fans are, always, fabulous fans. They love to make a lot of noise. What amazes me about this fight is that we have two top heavyweight fighters actually facing each other. And what makes it, of course, even greater here in London is that they're both from London. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, Steve, you know as well as I do, heavyweight fighters, if they lose a title shot, then they go on to fight 5 stiffs and get ranked number 1 again for a mandatory. I mean, this is basically a top-of-the-heap elimination fight. And the loser has to take a lot of steps backwards.
And I think they both know that, and I think that's my opinion, Michael. I think that's what gives it the extra edge. They know the winner can look at maybe a Klitschko, lots of money, 70,000 people in Germany, you again in the ring, and the loser is looking at, somewhere like the Blue Horizon in Philadelphia. No disrespect.
But yeah, you're right. But just two fighters at the top fighting each other, and we all know about the grudge factor involved, which makes it even more challenging and exciting.
And also, I know you do a lot of fights in Germany with the Klitschkos, and they're magnificent events, that's fair to say. They're beautifully run, fantastic, enormous crowds, enormous audiences on TV. But this will have something that those Klitschko fights lack. It will have that electricity, and a lot of that's to do with the fact that there is that grudge factor. Plus, the British fans. They know how to celebrate.
You know, I was blessed to be inducted into the Hall of Fame a few weeks ago, and I answered questions in my speech about what I'm asked the most. And people always say, "Where are the best fans?" And I think right now, and I said it's a tie between Germany and England. The British fans travel though. Yeah. They will go if a fighter's from Yorkshire and he's a 4-round fighter, but he's fighting in Manchester on an undercard fight, 2,000 fans will show up, and that's what's great. And they make noise, they're electric, they're appreciative, and I think this is what they're really looking for. The German fans, I say they're great fans, but they sit on their hands. They're quite polite, and it's a lot different atmosphere here in England, and I think it's really fantastic.
And just finally, Michael, you get, I think, and I've seen you around the world, I think you get your biggest reception here. I really do. They love you. You're you're the main undercard attraction.
Well, thank you.
No, you are.
I'll have to tell Frank to give me a raise tomorrow. Thank you, Steve.
That was Michael Buffer chatting to me earlier. He's brilliant, Michael Buffer, because he never changes his expression, and I mean he never changes. Take a picture of him from 25 years ago, he never changes. He's just brilliant. He never misses a beat. And just before you do the interview, he does something that's just class. He just gets a little bit of information from you. Just a little bit. And whatever he gets from you, he'll repeat. Nicely. Just, hey Steve, when was the last time that we were chatting? And you tell him that'll come out in in the interview. But he's there, and let me tell you something. I've just done a piece for the Independent tomorrow, a little bit about Buffer. He is looking forward to this fight. I've been with him in Vegas and New York and Manchester and a lot of times in Germany, and he's going through the motions. I am telling you now, at 70 odd years of age or whatever Buffer is, because he's a Vietnam veteran. I didn't know that. I thought that was hearsay. I thought that was rubbish. It's not. It's true. He's a Vietnam veteran, and therefore not a lot gets him excited, not a lot shocks him, but he is genuinely excited. He was loving it today at the press conference. He was sucking it in. You could see him as he was introducing them, just enjoying it, just savouring it, knowing full well that he was looking at, okay, there wasn't 7,000, but the place wasn't 7,000. And in fact, we're going to hear in a moment from Frank Warren. And one of the things Frank Warren said to me, not on air, not on the mic, was that he wishes he'd have had it in a bigger venue, and he wished he'd charged a nominal fee, a couple of quid, and donated that money to charity, because I tell you what, who knows what you would have had there today. The sun was out for a while. You might have had a massive crowd. If you have a